This is how the project comes together. Experiment 7. Layered. You all remember a little boy who drags along with his father, and he asks his father about the cranes on the side of the highway. His father promises he will take him to Kokum's store so he can play with the controls. Control. As fathers, we are meant to teach control. A demonstration, a hands-on demonstration, is worth more than 1,000 explanations. You also remember the kid who climbed at the top of the anchors to show his mother he's capable. Still, she was spotting him from the ground. I was telling you last time how, as kids, when we're at great heights, literally or figuratively, if we're being reassured by our parents, we get this sense of being on top of the world. And how this feeling becomes memorable. Because memories make connections. We need to revitalize this kink in the throat. Street but not a street, road but not a road. Austere now. There's this convergence node that has potential. Keep an eye on this family, mom and dad and the kids. You'll see them again. Because the area is part of a school route. On foot, and micromobility commuters go to work. Tourists and the residents walk through it. We're targeting pre-age of conditioning kids because they are brave enough to dare play. Stakeholders who want a more history-infused site, and the client who wants a sustainable, energy-efficient, clean intervention and at a minimal budget. It's happening in Kokum store. Funny coincidence here how our site spans between hauling international goods and assets and educating migrants. We're using high impact gestures, visual, audible, with abstract meaning. We're also restoring the greenery, continuing the serpentine green paths coming from the waterfront, water fountain, restoring it. We're using 7 crane cabins, and we unite them compositionally and also through function. We use interactive triggers and sensors. We throw out laser beams. When is this happening? It is proposed now. In order to get planning permission, Gustav, sponsorship, Anna. And we implement it gradually. First, as a minimum viable product. Public response will inform our future development. But it will work from the start as a prototype, Stina. It is open. It's a flexible creation framework. There is a talk on YouTube at the University in Eskilstuna where I explain flexible creation framework concept. Drawing roots from Friedrich Nietzsche's Will to Power, Konstantin Brâncuș's Column of Infinity. Look it up. The Endless Column. And Le Corbusier's fascination for the automobile. These three would have loved the cabins. Nietzsche, Brâncuș, and Corbu were infinite players, and flexible creation framework is an infinite game. Remember them. When the cabin was being picked up on Monday and taken away, they started clapping. They were waving goodbye at it as if it was their old friend. We're using this flexible creation framework so that it remains permanent through its capability to grow. This was a joy killer this morning. Traffic jam on this little road, or Strode Street. Play is joy. There's this unique period in our lives when we get to fully explore our calling. How do we turn a rocky, austere place into an environment filled with joy? and how do we move through it? Apart from sustainable urban planning, with interesting, identity-loaded, interactive designs, we can also think of better ways of urban travel for us and our children. And we need a new model for that. There must be something better than what is, which is not a car, not an electric scooter or a bicycle. We need a new personal transportation paradigm. To avoid this, so what can you do to help this project? What can you do to help make this world better? Thanks. Let's make it interactive now.
Your project is us sitting here. I don't think everybody realized that it's us who is your project. And during the course, you have proven that by, for instance, the meeting with other groups has been like, what about this? How does it look? How are we going to present? How does it look? The meeting with you is like, I'm going to call Varvsstaden now. Hello, Eric. You're on vacation. Can you put the crane there tomorrow?
Next week.
A little bit like that. And you put the crane there in reality and makes it happen. That's your project. And that's why I say that it's so hard to present on the screen. Because what you have proven is your capability to lead something and your capability to take action. That's why you write that it's us here. How your tools that's your tool in your project.
It is the stuff.
Talking to people, making things happen. And I was happy to see that situation where they had just seen the Lego mat with the most people that made the building owner start to talk about, should we have a kiosk here? And then I took them and dropped them at your place, because you in reality is, that was the perfect situation for them to take you really seriously in the right way and start the discussion, which is about here and now and you and me. Which led them to believe in this project and start to discuss it, regardless if they want to put it there or not. That inspired the discussion in the place there, which to some form is going to make a mark in reality. Even if it's not this, that will make a mark on that place. That will forever be in their conscious when they go back to their business meeting and talk about renovating the floor somewhere. So that's my way of trying to angle what it is you have done and saying that that's really important, because the future is who we are here and now, and that's what you have proven.
Thank you, Gustav. And thank you for this awesome picture. Courtesy of you. please.
Yeah, just sort of joining in on what Gustav just said. I think that, I mean, I've been in so many board meetings with some people who have as well. And there have been so many discussions about, you know, the problem with any idea that we have, it always becomes like one location, and there was a discussion, shouldn't we do a similar thing somewhere else to really get the people to understand that we're trying to like do small things, but we still have a broader picture, like a vision for this part of the city. And then suddenly, like all the ideas that have been thrown up in the air, and it sort of became more realistic, and there was something just standing there in the street, and it made people start talking about it again, but in a different way. So, you know, as soon as you said 7 cranes, everyone was like, 7? Can we be in 7 places at the same time? You know, there was this discussion about like, how could it be more visible that the area is big, but we're doing things to really activate people between the houses in so many parts of the place. So I think that was a really, just like you said, the fact that it was there, something that made us talk about the difference between moving a thing all the time, and having things that are connecting, and making people talk about how they're connecting. Maybe, you know, it's just a place where you talk about what you want to be there, or, you know, somebody said, or I even said, like, it looks like the electrical chair makes me uncomfortable. This is what we would want, you know, but at least you start talking about what you would want.
And this conversation will keep going, Anna. This is the essence of a flexible creation framework. We'll keep asking the users how this design can morph over time and be relevant always. Yes, Nicole?
I also wanted to highlight that the identity to have courage to show why you think, why not to have another idea, another angle to have a destination event. Because it is also engage people to discuss, to show identity, historical background. So it is also a very nice intervention, I mean, that is an intervention. So I'm very happy to see that.
Thank you, Nicole. Thank you very much.
This also brought in a stakeholder that is not in place. So around the square we have Vasakronan property, and we have Elize property, and this one is owned by Varvsstaden, and that is Malmö city. Those are the owners of the place. So you actually brought in another stakeholder from VÄSTRA HAMNEN into the place, which in itself creates a very interesting discussion.
Let's make it happen.
I have a comment.
Please.
Now it's I think it's humorous that this small box it's the interface of a human operating a machine maybe 60 years ago, but the demand of space and comfort is almost equivalent to like a cubicle at a modern office house. So like we haven't gone that far. It's just like before you were prisoner in this horrible machine, and now you're prisoner in these buildings.
I think this is far more generous in terms of space.
What a idea.
Somebody said, can you imagine sitting at that height? But then imagine how many people are actually sitting at the same height.
Nothing much has changed.
Yeah, it looks so small next to those big buildings. It's not so visible here, but you know, it's 10 floors up there and this little tiny one at the bottom.
Yeah.
But at least we got to sit down. All the other people were holding around steel or something.
Yeah, and the seat is so comfortable. Actually, Gustav, when we were meant to meet at Material Banken, I went there with Eric. I tried one of the seats. Presentation has stopped working. I was trying to show you that comfy king's chair with the controls. Yeah, it's very comfortable. That would have been a luxury job 60 years ago. Tell me more. We have time.
Okay, the big plan with the 7 of them, how would it work? The first plane with all the arrows.
Yes, I'll try to get back to, let's see, it works now. Okay. So we're looking at the plan view. Top left.
Yes.
I'll get the bigger version. This is the double-storied one, the double-decker. And the yellow one at the top is the one that Matthias is suggesting we hang off his building in console on the top level. Same level with the penthouse. He wants it as a on-land lighthouse and lit from inside. He wants it. He really wants it to look like one of those non-electric candle lighting posts from 200 years ago. Here, you can actually see here. This one. Yeah. And then we throw out all those laser beams. Also, through radio, we communicate in between the cabins. Kids can communicate with each other. And we trigger, you know this one? But even when these interactive phenomena are not present, we have low-tech hardware, paint on the ground. This truss is just painted on the pavement. That pedestrian crossing there at the top, see? That could also be a stylized truss. We keep alive this leitmotif of the crane truss in the crane cabin throughout the intervention.
So you could say you decorate the place with that fascination for the crane.
Yes,
sound.
precisely. Because height is just perspective. All of that, all the crane operators experience with the controls, fatherly lesson, self-control, that can all be brought to ground level and experienced safely.
Okay. Any other final comments or thoughts? Oh, thank you. Yeah. So let's have 15 minutes break, get some air and coffee maybe. So let's start 35. Yeah, 10:35.
Thank you everyone for presentation.
Thank you.
Tack så
Eller
jättemycket.
tack.
Superintressant. Det är så klart. You made my day. Det var bra, det är en sån här ursäkt.